Hello, namaskar, and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you are doing good. Today is 27th October. It's Saturday today, dear friends. Our next PIB will be on Monday. This is just a small notice for you guys, right? Now, I have got two special topics for you today. The first one is pertaining to this picture that you can see on your screen. Now, let's start with a question, right? The question is, can you give me the name of an organization for which this term caged parrot is used? It's not an official terminology or a phrase, right? It's an unofficial, but it's used for a particular organization in our country, and it is a talk of the town at present. It's a very important current affair topic. So I believe now you guys have posted this video and you have posted your answer in the comment section. So let's crack on with our first special topic of the day. It is about caged parrot, a memorable phrase coined by Supreme Court of our country. It describes, unfortunately, Central Bureau of Investigation. This is not the first time we are going through this sort of dramatic purge, but in the past as well, CBI has misbehaved, and this time what we find is that government has misbehaved with the CBI. How? Let's go through it. It was somewhere around 9 p.m. On 23rd October 2018 when this deputy chief of CBI was grounded by the main director or the main chief of CBI, and the reason is some sort of corruption investigation was going on or is going on against this deputy chief. Later on, and the same night, what we find is that CBI chief is also grounded by Government of India. Government of India brings in third person, and this person is made interim chief or interim director of CBI. When this person comes in or takes over this CBI as an organization, he transfers some 13 officials who are investigating this case against deputy chief. Interestingly, the chief who is grounded is not aware about all these things that took place last night. So next morning he comes across this news that he is grounded by Government of India. He's not happy with this thing, of course, and he knocks the door of Supreme Court. Now the problem with our structure of CBI is that government is in complete control of CBI, and this is one of the main reasons why CBI is described as caged parrot. Administration of CBI is looked after by Government of India. When it comes to selection of officers for deputation, this all India service officers, they are deputed. It's called central deputation. So when they are working for state government, they will be picked up by Government of India for some central organization like CBI, for example. So deputation is looked after by Government of India. Administration of CBI is looked after by Government of India. And here comes the problem, because one of the main job of CBI is to probe governmental corruption cases. So here lies complete conflict of interest, that you are selecting a person for a job of sorting out this corruption cases of your organization or your government, and this organization, this CBI, is also completely under your control. So you can obviously, even a small child can easily say that you will find a conflict of interest here. So the solution for this thing is, of course, conferring autonomy, or you can say complete freedom of CBI. This is one of the most important thing, because we are talking about our premier investigating agency. And if you find this sort of situation, and this structure has failed us consistently, if we go through 2G cases, if we go through coal cases, if we go through this Vijay Mallya case or other bank fraud cases, we have, it has been proved that CBI has failed consistently. Most of the cases are against opposition politicians, and this was happening during UPA government, this is happening during NDA government. So this is not fair at all, and we need to change the rules and regulation of this game. There are a couple of things that we can do. The first thing is that making CBI accountable to this bipartisan committee of parliament, where you have leaders from ruling party as well as leaders from opposition parties. Then we can have this CBI. The second thing is we can make CBI accountable to a special governing body consisting of Prime Minister, Home Minister, CJI and leader of opposition. Now one thing I would like to add here is that see this body that I was talking about, right? The selection and appointment, we have to understand the difference between these two things. When it comes to appointment of CBI director, it is done by a special body in which you have Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India and leader of opposition. These are the three people who will select your CBI director. But the thing is that the names, right, or a list of name is given by Government of India. So here is the main problem. So what we can do is, when it comes to appointment, of course, we can have this body, or we can have this body who is appointing CBI director or deputy director. We can have this special governing body like PM, Home Minister, CJI, leader of opposition, and they are the ones, right? This is the body to whom the CBI will report. So this will ensure its autonomy. This system of deputation, we need to get rid of it when it comes to CBI. And rather than CBI, you can say recruiting people from various different organizations, it is better that we cultivate, right, or CBI can cultivate its own cadre of officers. Post-retirement re-employment of director should be a big no. For that, if we have to increase the pay and perks of director, then we should do it, but there should not be any sort of re-employment once they are done with their director post. And all those cases, right, records of closed cases should be made accessible under RTI, so people can go through all those cases. And with this we can also, it will, more eyeballs will be there on all those cases that are being sorted out by CBI. So these are a few solutions through which we can sort out this whole CBI's caged parrot thing. Now, before moving ahead to our second topic, I would like to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses. As you can see on your screen, for various different exams, we have different pen drive and tablet courses. They are designed by best faculties of our country. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. Dear friends, how many children should I have? Right? It's not a question that I'm asking to you guys. It's a question that we need to ask ourselves because when it comes to election, right, the most important thing is a person should have that caliber, that integrity, right? And what we are finding here is that Supreme Court has not delivered that up to the mark judgment, right? A thing that we generally expect. And I must admit here that Supreme Court has time and again saved our constitution. Supreme Court has delivered so many judgments and verdicts that have changed the course of our country for good. But here, I think I'm not happy with this decision of Supreme Court, because Supreme Court has ruled that nobody or anybody with more than 2 children, right, is eligible to contest panchayat elections. Now, this is a bit harsh, because this case is pertaining to this candidate. A candidate in Odisha had his third child. So what he did, the firstborn child was was handed over to some other couple for adoption, and this was something that Supreme Court, now of course we can understand this thing, this is purely a trick, isn't it? Supreme Court said that this sort of attempts are invalid. Yes, it's altogether a different matter, but when it comes to this panchayat elections, it was introduced by this 73rd amendment of 1992 in our constitution, and one of the main you can say agenda, or one of the main purpose, was to make sure that we penetrate our democracy at grassroots level, at village level, at block level, at district level. And when we adopted this amendment, right, at that point of time, it was recommended by this legislation or this law that that we should promote a 2-child norm. That means a couple should have maximum 2 children, but it was not something that was compulsory or mandatory. It was just a suggestion. Now, the provision is anti-democratic because it punishes poor, and it is outdated as well as if we go through our current demographics, right, we find that it is irrelevant as well, because it was introduced keeping in mind 1991 population data. At that point of time, things were a bit different. Now it is altogether different. Now you don't have to tell anyone, people know this thing, that the way things are going on, socio-economic changes, it is very difficult for a couple, to look after 2 or more children. So naturally they are going to stick with 2-child norm, but this is something that should come from within and not from outside. Now for democracy, right, it is very important that as citizens, we should have this choice to elect our leader, and the only relevant criteria is integrity, efficiency, that caliber of a particular candidate who is contesting election. If that candidate is having all these things, then of course people are going to vote for that person. But having more than 2 children has nothing to do with his or her performance. So Supreme Court should think about this decision, and I'm sure we are going to find some PILs or review petitions on this thing. Now let's move on to news items. Vice President has termed, or has given this name, Vishwaguru, to Professor MS Swaminathan. MS Swaminathan is an eminent agricultural scientist. He is also known as father of Indian Green Revolution. He's a teacher, a scholar. He has contributed a huge amount of his energy and work for the betterment of our agriculture, for the betterment of people of our country, for every one of us, because he introduced a green revolution in our country. So the government of this Indian Council of Food and Agriculture has bestowed this first World Agriculture Prize to Professor MS Swaminathan, and on this occasion, Vice President Mr. Naidu termed him as a Vishwaguru when it comes to agriculture. The Vice President said that Professor Swaminathan ushered in green revolution and laid a firm foundation for India's food security. There was a time when India was relying on countries like USA and other countries for our food security, but introduction of green revolution has changed things forever. Vice President also talked about this thing. We have talked about this figure many times, but this is just to highlight its importance of agriculture, because more than 50% of our population is relying on agriculture. So we have to invest, we have to give this high priority to our agriculture sector if we want to change the situation of our country. A news that is associated with the same topic, right? It is coming from Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Our Minister Suresh Prabhu has also talked about same thing, that majority of population is dependent on agriculture. So we have to deal with all those negative things, or all those you can say our weaknesses. We have to get rid of our weaknesses that we find in our agriculture sector. He has talked about 3 major challenges, and I want you guys to note these 3 challenges down, not in your book but in your mind. It should be there in your fingertip, right, whenever you're asked about the 3 major challenges, because it is coming from Suresh Prabhu, and he is our minister, and when he is talking about, any minister you find in PIB is talking about challenges or some things, right, you can take it as official statements, and if you write down this sort of things in your mains answer writing, right, then this items will be valid, because it is coming from government itself. So there are 3 challenges. The first one is topsoil, looking after the health of our soil. Second is optimum use of water, and the third one is climate change. These are the 3 challenges through which our agriculture sector is going through. He said that India became self-reliant in food production in just about 15 years after the introduction of Green Revolution, and Government of India Commerce Ministry is ready with an agriculture export policy so that farmers' income can be doubled by 2020. He talked about Fasal Bima Yojana, Paramparagat Krishi Yojana, Kisan Credit Card, Soil Health Card, E-Naam, Krishi Sichai Yojana, and other items. Dear friends, one news item, very important one, right? Ministry of Development of Northeast Region, donor, right? The person that you can see on your screen, his name is Rajkumar Singhjeet Singh, and he is given this award. He is selected for Tagore Award for Cultural Harmony. He is a distinguished teacher. He's outstanding teacher. He's a outstanding performer as well as choreographer. He works in this field of Manipuri dance, Thangta, Nata Sankirtana, Lai, Haraoba, and Raslila. These are some various forms of performing arts with which Mr. Singh is associated with. And this award is known as Tagore Award because Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore was deeply influenced by Manipuri dance, and he made it an integral part of the education curriculum at Visva Bharati. Last item that we have is coming from Women and Child Development Ministry. Women of India National Organic Festival was celebrated in New Delhi, and this festival is celebrated to promote women entrepreneurs, items that they produce, and farmers, women farmers in organic field across our country. It was a big, you can say, festival, right? Menka Gandhiji also talked about this e-portal called Mahila E-Hut, on which ladies can sell their produce, and Menka Gandhiji also talked about Ahmedabad, Mumbai and Chennai, where we find this festival is celebrated. Last quiz, last item and last quiz for you guys today. Can you give me the reason why Harry Potter is in news right in our country? It has something to do with creative learning. So what it is all about, Google it if you have to, and do post your answers in the comment section. It's a very interesting thing that we are finding here. It's a new way of learning things. So do let me know. And this is my Facebook page. This is my Twitter handle from where you can download the PDF of today's lecture. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Share this lecture with other students. God bless you all. Jai Hind.